I feared death from her fangs, until her seductive bite gave me life. The capture. The azure mist clung to the jagged rock formations of Azurus like spectral fingers, obscuring Valen's vision as he adjusted his atmospheric scanner. 3 weeks into his cartography mission, and the mining company's data had proven woefully inadequate for the planet's western hemisphere. Tall and lean with sun-weathered skin, Valen had mapped a dozen frontier worlds, but something about Azurus set his nerves on edge. Terrain unstable. His wrist computer chirped. Recommend alternate route. Valen sighed, pushing back a lock of dark hair. Override. Continue current path. The darkness seemed to deepen around him as he descended into a narrow ravine. His light stick cast elongated shadows that danced across the violet-tinged stone. According to his readings, a vast network of caves extended beneath this region, perfect for updating the resource maps his employers desperately needed. The first sign of trouble was silence, the sudden absence of the skittering sounds that had followed him since dawn. Valen froze, his hand moving to the pulse pistol at his hip. Something was watching him. He could feel it. Show yourself, he called, his voice echoing through the ravine. A soft laugh answered, melodic yet chilling.
Brave for one so far from home, she emerged from the shadows like a phantom.
Tall and graceful with skin the color of twilight purple, moving with predatory elegance. Her eyes gleamed like amethysts in the darkness, and the markings along her arms pulsed with bioluminescence. A nocturne. The vampiric species whispered about in spacer taverns feared even by hardened frontier settlers. Cartographer, she said, tilting her head as she circled him. Your kind usually travel with protection. Valen kept his weapon raised, though stories claimed conventional weapons barely slowed nocturnes. I work alone. Clearly. Her lips curved, revealing the slightest hint of fangs. I am Zara, sentinel of Clan Moonshadow. Before Valen could respond, 3 more nocturnes materialized from the darkness surrounding him. Their movements were too fast, too coordinated. His pistol was wrenched away and strong hands secured him. The colony will pay for my release, Valen said, fighting to keep his voice steady. Zara approached, studying him with curious intensity. We do not seek payment. Your presence violates our territory. They moved him through passages invisible to human eyes, descending into the planet's depths until they reached a settlement carved from living stone. Bioluminescent fungi provided soft illumination, revealing a civilization unknown to the galactic registry. Valen was placed in a cell with translucent walls that seemed to pulse with energy. Hours passed before Zara returned alone, her expression unreadable. Our elders have decided your fate, she said, entering the cell. But first I must know what you truly seek. I told you I'm mapping the region. She stepped closer, her scent like night-blooming flowers. There is more. I sense it. When she reached for him, Valen expected death. Instead, her cool fingers traced his jaw with surprising gentleness. Your life ends tonight, human, but something new begins. Her fangs punctured his neck. A sharp, intimate pain that quickly transformed into something else entirely as Valen's world dissolved into crimson stars and unexpected pleasure. The awakening Valen awoke to sensations that overwhelmed his mind. The subtle vibrations of footsteps a corridor away, the faint aromatic compounds in the air, the whispered conversations beyond walls that should have blocked all sound. His veins thrummed with unfamiliar energy, his skin hypersensitive to the silken bedding beneath him. The transition begins. Zara's voice came from the doorway. She had exchanged her hunter's garb for a flowing garment that accentuated her lithe form. The luminescent patterns along her purple skin pulsed in rhythm with her breathing. What did you do to me? Valen managed, his voice hoarse. Zara approached, sitting beside him on the bed platform. I gave you the crimson gift. Few outsiders have ever received it and survived. I'm becoming like you? Alarm shot through him. No, she said, tracing a finger along his collarbone where new violet markings had appeared. Not exactly. The communion creates a bond, but you will remain yourself. Enhanced, changed, but still human at your core. Valen caught her wrist, surprised at his newfound strength. Why me? Something vulnerable flickered across her face. I don't know. When I saw you in the ravine, I felt a recognition. The elders call it the echo, a rare connection between compatible life forces. She pulled away, suddenly distant. It was forbidden. My clan leader Nyx demands your execution. The gift was meant only for our kind. Valen's enhanced senses detected her elevated heartbeat, the subtle pheromones signaling her distress. Yet you did it anyway. I've never defied my clan before, Zara whispered. In 3 centuries I've been the perfect sentinel. His hand found hers, and the contact sent a cascade of sensations between them. Images, emotions, memories exchanging in a psychic current. He saw her centuries of loneliness, the rigid hierarchy of nocturne society, her secret yearning for something beyond the endless hunting and survival. She saw his determination, his solitary journeys across stars, his fascination with the unknown that drove him to the edges of mapped space. The bond, Zara explained, pulling her hand away as though burned. It grows stronger. Soon we will share thoughts, feelings, everything. A commotion in the corridor interrupted them. The door burst open, revealing a tall nocturne male with elaborate markings denoting high rank. Sentinel Zara, he hissed. The council has learned of your transgression. Zara stood, positioning herself between Valen and the newcomer. Commander Vex, I can explain. Clan leader Nyx has ordered the humans' immediate termination, Vex announced, gesturing to the armed nocturnes behind him. And your ritual cleansing. Zara's posture shifted subtly, a predator ready to strike. You know what cleansing entails, Vex. A slow death, erasing all I am. Vex's expression held no sympathy. You should have considered that before betraying our most sacred laws for this creature. Through their nascent bond, Valen felt Zara's fear and determination. Acting on instinct, he reached for the energy now coursing through his transformed body. With a thought, he shattered the lights in the chamber, plunging them into darkness. In the confusion, Zara moved with supernatural speed, disarming the nearest guard. She tossed Valen a weapon, her eyes glowing in the darkness. Follow me, she whispered. If we stay, we both die. As alarms echoed through the nocturne settlement, Valen made his choice, embracing both the unknown transformation within him and the dangerous bond with a woman from the stars. The escape dawn broke over Azuris's western horizon, bathing the crystalline forests in amber light as Valen and Zara emerged from an underground passage. For hours they had navigated the labyrinthine network of caves, evading nocturne hunting, parties using their shared connection. Zara's knowledge of the terrain and Valen's rapidly developing senses creating a symbiotic awareness of danger. The crystal wastes lie ahead, Zara said, her voice tight with exhaustion. The purple hue of her skin had dimmed slightly, the luminescent patterns flickering erratically. Few nocturnes venture there. The crystals interfere with our sensory abilities. Valen noted her weakened state with concern. You need to feed. She averted her eyes. Yes. The gift depleted my reserves, and the bond continues to draw energy. A moment of tension stretched between them. Take what you need from me, Valen said softly. It's not that simple, Zara replied, her voice dropping to a whisper. The second communion is different from the first, more intimate. The sharing becomes mutual. Understanding dawned on Valen as he felt a pulse of desire through their connection. I'm not afraid. They found shelter within a hollow formation of amethyst crystals hidden from aerial patrols. As night approached, Zara explained what she had done, and why. There is a prophecy among my people, she began, sitting close to him in their crystalline sanctuary. That one day a nocturne would bond with an off-worlder, creating a bridge between our isolated existence and the galactic community. This union would end centuries of hiding and predation, leading to a new era. You believe I'm part of this prophecy? Valen asked incredulously. I didn't, until I tasted your essence. Her fingers traced the violet markings that now extended across his chest. Your genetic structure is uniquely compatible with the Crimson Gift. 1 in billions. The hunger within her was becoming palpable. Through their connection, a gnawing emptiness that called to him. When she swayed slightly, Valen made his decision. Take what you need, he repeated, tilting his head to expose his neck. Zara moved closer, her scent enveloping him. The second communion binds us in ways that cannot be undone. Their lips met first, tentative, then with growing urgency. The psychic connection between them amplified every sensation, creating feedback loops of pleasure that transcended physical experience. When her fangs finally pierced his skin, Valen gasped, not from pain but from the intense rush of energy between them. This time, he wasn't merely a vessel. He was an active participant in their communion. As she drew his essence, he instinctively pulled back, creating a circuit of energy that flowed between them. Images flooded his mind. Zara's childhood centuries, Ego her first hunt, moments of triumph and solitude, and beneath it all a longing for connection that mirrored his own. When they finally separated, both breathless and transformed, the markings on Valen's skin glowed with the same bioluminescence as Zara's. "The bond is complete," she whispered against his shoulder. A distant sound broke their reverie. The distinctive hum of nocturne skimmers approaching from the east. "They've tracked us," Valen said, his enhanced hearing pinpointing multiple pursuit craft. Zara's expression hardened as she gathered their few possessions. "They will never stop hunting us now. We represent everything they fear. Change, exposure, the end of isolation." "Where can we go?" Valen asked, helping her to her feet. Zara's eyes gleamed with newfound determination. "There is one who might help us, an exiled nocturne scientist who studies our biology. He lives beyond the crystal wastes, researching ways our people might evolve beyond the need for essence feeding." As the sounds of pursuit grew closer, they slipped deeper into the glittering forest. Two beings now linked by biology, destiny, and a growing affection that defied the boundaries of their species. The sanctuary. The journey across the crystal wastes tested them both. 3 days of traversing treacherous terrain while evading nocturne hunting parties left Valen and Zara exhausted. The strange crystalline formations that jutted from the ground like frozen lightning disrupted their pursuers' tracking abilities, but also interfered with Zara's natural navigation instincts. Only Valen's cartographer skills kept them oriented toward their destination. There, Zara pointed toward a distant plateau as they crested a ridge. Meridian's sanctuary. The structure was unlike any Valen had seen, part organic growth, part technological marvel. Crystalline spires spiraled upward from a base of living material that pulsed with the same bioluminescence as nocturne skin. "Who exactly is this Meridian?" Valen asked as they approached. "Once the most brilliant mind among our scientists," Zara explained, "until he proposed that nocturnes could evolve beyond essence feeding. The council declared his research heresy and ordered his execution. He escaped, establishing this place beyond their reach." A perimeter of energy fields shimmered as they approached, sensors analyzing them before a section deactivated, granting passage. Inside, the air was different, charged with subtle energies that made the new markings on Valen's skin tingle. The nocturne who greeted them appeared older than any Valen had seen. His purple skin faded to lavender, crossed with intricate silver markings. His eyes widened at the sight of them, particularly at Valen's transformed appearance. "Fascinating," Meridian said, circling Valen with scientific curiosity. "A successful cross-species communion. I theorized it was possible, but never witnessed it." He turned to Zara. "You have created something unprecedented, young sentinel." "It wasn't intentional," she admitted. "Something drew me to him." "The echo." Meridian's expression shifted to one of reverence. "The echo? Truly?" He gestured for them to follow him deeper into the sanctuary. Then perhaps the prophecies were not merely legends after all. The laboratory they entered hummed with experimental equipment. Holographic displays showed cellular structures in various stages of transformation. "What's happening to me?" Valen asked, as Meridian took samples of his blood and tissue. The scientist studied the readings with increasing excitement. "Something remarkable. The communion has triggered adaptive changes at the genetic level. You're developing nocturne traits while maintaining your human biology." "Is it dangerous?" Zara asked, concern evident in her voice. "All evolution carries risk," Meridian replied. "But the communion seems stable, in fact." He paused, rechecking his instruments. "The changes appear to be bilateral. Zara, you're also transforming." She tensed. "How is that possible?" "The echo creates true symbiosis," Meridian explained. Valen gains aspects of nocturne biology, enhanced senses, cellular regeneration, extended lifespan. And you, Zara, are developing something nocturnes have lacked for millennia: reduced dependency on essence feeding. That night, in the privacy of quarters Meridian provided, Valen and Zara explored their evolving connection. Each touch transmitted cascades of sensation across their bond, their intimacy deepened by the literal sharing of consciousness. Physical boundaries seemed to dissolve as they moved together, their communion transcending the merely physical into something that joined their very life forces. Afterward, as they lay entwined, Valen traced the markings on her skin that now pulsed in perfect synchronization with his own. "I never imagined finding connection like this," he murmured. "Especially with someone from beyond the stars." Zara's fingers explored the contours of his face. "For centuries I existed rather than lived. Now I understand what the ancient texts meant about the echo. It's not just biological compatibility, but a resonance of souls." Their moment of peace was shattered by Meridian's urgent arrival. "Perimeter alarms have been triggered," he announced. "A nocturne hunting party has found us, led by Commander Vex himself." Zara rose immediately, her expression hardening. "They won't stop until we're eliminated. We've become symbols of everything the Council fears." "Perhaps that is exactly what's needed," Meridian suggested, his eyes alight with possibility. "Legends speak of the Crimson Bond creating beings who would bridge worlds. If others witnessed what you've become, they'd still try to kill us," Valen interjected. "Not all nocturnes follow the Council blindly," Meridian countered. "Many question our isolation, our dependence on essence feeding. You could be living proof of an alternative." Zara's gaze met Valen's, determination reflected in her amethyst eyes. "We can't run forever." As dawn approached, they prepared to face their hunters not as fugitives, but as harbingers of a possible new future, one where the boundaries between species might dissolve in the embrace of understanding. The Bond. The hunting party arrived with the first light of Azuris's primary sun, 10 elite nocturne warriors led by Commander Vex. They approached the sanctuary with weapons drawn, their expressions betraying a mixture of determination and unease at the strange energies emanating from Meridian's domain. "This ends now, traitor," Vex called out as he spotted Zara standing at the entrance, Valen beside her. The commander faltered momentarily at the sight of Valen's transformation, the glowing markings, the altered eyes, the unmistakable resonance of nocturne energy. "What abomination is this?" he demanded. Meridian stepped forward, his aged form nonetheless commanding respect. "Not abomination, Vex, evolution, the fulfillment of prophecy." "Heresy!" Vex spat. "The Council has ordered all 3 of you destroyed." He gestured to his warriors. "This human thing most of all." The hunters moved forward but hesitated when Valen extended his hand, manipulating the energy fields around them in ways no human should be capable of. The ground beneath their feet illuminated with the same patterns that adorned his skin. "I am not your enemy," Valen said, his voice resonating with newfound power. "Nor is Zara a traitor. We are what your ancestors foretold, the beginning of a new understanding between our kinds." Through their bond, Zara sensed his strategy. She stepped closer, allowing their energies to visibly merge, creating a luminescent aura that pulsed outward in concentric waves of purple and gold. "The Crimson Bond," whispered one of the younger hunters, lowering her weapon. "Just as the ancient text described." Vex raised his blade. "Illusions and tricks. Strike them down." But half of his hunting party remained immobile, transfixed by what they were witnessing. Meridian seized the moment of uncertainty. "For centuries we've existed in shadows, dependent on feeding, feared by all," the scientist proclaimed. "I have spent decades searching for our evolution, a way to sustain ourselves without predation. These 2 have found it through their bond." "Lies!" Vex hissed, though doubt had begun to creep into his voice. "Test it yourself," Zara challenged. She extended her arm, revealing that the feeding marks, the physical indicators of essence hunger that all nocturnes displayed, had faded from her skin. One of the hunters, a female with elaborate sentinel markings, stepped forward. "Commander, what if they speak truth? The prophecy said 2 would come, one of stars, one of shadow. Who would lead us from darkness? Vex wavered, centuries of tradition battling against the evidence before him. The council fears change, Meridian interrupted, as they feared my research. But look around you, Vex, our numbers dwindle. Our isolation grows. Without evolution, we face extinction. Through their bond, Valen felt Zara's sudden inspiration. Without warning, she stepped forward and sliced her palm with a crystalline blade, then offered her bleeding hand to Vex. Taste my essence, she challenged. Feel the truth of our transformation. After a moment's hesitation, Vex touched a drop of her blood to his lips and staggered backward as if struck. His eyes widened in disbelief. It's true, he whispered. Your essence, it's changed, stabilized. The standoff dissolved into uneasy conversation as Meridian explained what had occurred, how the communion between Valen and Zara had triggered genetic adaptations that benefited both, creating a new form of symbiosis that eliminated the need for predatory feeding. Not all were convinced. Vex and 3 loyal warriors departed to report to the council, their threats of return hanging in the air. But 5 hunters remained, hungry for knowledge, for possibility, for change. In the days that followed, more curious nocturnes arrived secretly at Meridian's sanctuary. Word spread quietly through clan networks about the bonded pair and their transformation. Some came to witness, others to learn. A brave few to attempt communion with willing human partners who sought the enhancements the bond provided. Not all communion succeeded. The echo proved rare, a specific resonance between unique individuals. But enough flourished to create the beginnings of a new community at the sanctuary's edge. One evening, as twin moons rose over the crystal wastes, Valen and Zara stood on a high balcony, observing the settlement that had sprung up around them.
Do you ever regret it?
Valen asked, his fingers intertwined with hers. Defying your people, choosing this path? Zara turned to him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. How can I regret finding you? For centuries I existed in isolation, even among my kind. Through you I found connection, to myself, to others, to possibility. The council still wants us eliminated, he reminded her. They fear what they don't understand, she replied. But understanding grows with each new bond formed. We've begun something they cannot stop. Not with weapons, not with threats. Valen pulled her close, their markings illuminating in synchronized patterns as their energies merged once again. Their kiss deepened, the communion between them flowing like liquid starlight through their joined bodies. What happens next? He whispered against her lips. Zara smiled, her gaze turning to the distant stars visible through Azurus's atmosphere. We build a bridge between worlds just as the prophecy foretold. Not through conquest or assimilation, but through understanding and choice. As their bodies and minds joined once more in the intimate dance of their unique bond, both knew they had found something rarer than any treasure in the galaxy, a connection that transcended species and space, transforming not only themselves but the future of 2 civilizations. In the sanctuary below them, another successful communion had just been completed, new markings glowing on transformed skin, another bridge forming between worlds that had once existed in fear of one another. The future unfolded before them like the endless stars above, filled with challenges but bright with possibility.